my YouTube channel. You'll have to forgive me here. We're out doing a little yard work, cleaning up after all these storms. I've got tree branches down. Big mess, so a little fire going over here trying to burn up some of these sticks. As you can see, it's a hot day, humid, and I'm hot on top of hot. Well, earlier this week, Wranglerstar, whose link I'll probably put in the description, he compared the Milwaukee to the Dewalt as far as their electric drills at a price point of around $100. Now, he did compare a $100 Dewalt to a $150 Milwaukee, but I can't disagree with anything he said. You see lots of complaints on there about people complaining about the what he reviewed, and if you look, this is the exact same as what he used. And while mine does have a metal chuck on it compared to his plastic, I cannot disagree in the least in what he had to say. The chuck on this will not stay tight. This is the brush. So actually, this is the nicer version of what, a little bit nicer version. This is what everybody told him that he should compare the $150 one. And it is a metal chuck, but the same problems exist that he's having. The clutch does not stay put. It constantly goes up and down all by itself. It's a constant heartache, and the chuck comes loose constantly. I use this thing for 2 months daily, and I just had constant problems with it, constant aggravation, and I really just got to the point where I didn't want to use it anymore. It was just frustrating. I liked the other Dewalt tools that I was using, but this particular 20 volt was just a constant problem. Now, it still sounds good. You can tell it's got some age and some use on it, but it still works. So, I mean, it was a well-made drill, I guess, but just the clutch doesn't stay put, and the chuck, I mean, it's just, it constantly comes loose. If you're drilling a hole, anything over about 1/4 of an inch, you've got to constantly stop, tighten the chuck back down, and then you got to turn the chuck back up to drill. It's pretty annoying. So I got myself in a position where I needed a hammer drill, and that's when I went and bought this big guy. That is, this one here was a DCD 790. So I upgraded to this. This is the DCD 995, which is the hammer drill. And I got this off eBay. I paid a whopping $80 for it on eBay. It appears to have the same chuck, but it does accept a bigger drill bit. I don't remember the exact size, but it does accept a bigger one. It has 3 speeds, and it is a drill and a hammer drill. I'm sure y'all can't see that as far away as the camera is, but for the $80 that I spent for this on eBay, now it was just the tool, there was no batteries or charger with it. Man, it's a whole lot better tool. The T-handle, which is in the toolbox, it broke fairly quickly. But for most of what I use this drill for, I very seldom ever really need the T-handle. But it's just a whole lot better tool. The chuck never comes loose. The clutch doesn't flop around and give me problems. I'm sorry, there's some mosquitoes out here. It's just a lot better all-around tool. And I think really this would be a better comparison to the Milwaukee. This is about the same price point and just a much better tool. Now, if you do go buy this with the batteries and everything, I think it's about $300. But it comes with the bigger 3-amp batteries, not the little, I think this is 1.5 or 2 amp. This is 2 amp hour. It doesn't come with these little 2 amp hour batteries. It's a lot better tool. And if you look, what you'll see here, and everybody asks me why I have 2 in the truck. Well, this is a 20 volt impact driver. This thing's rated at 140-ish foot-pounds of torque. I don't remember the exact rating, but it's up there. And this thing is really good at breaking stuff. There's really no other way of putting it. It'll break concrete anchors before it seats them. It'll break screws off in boards. It'll shatter bits like crazy. And that's not just because I'm being crazy with it and hossing down on it. This is the only tool I've ever had that just breaks stuff all the time. So really I reserve this to big stuff. Now, this is the 20 volt. But what I use daily is this little 20 volt. And one big thing Wranglerstar forgot to point out, maybe he didn't realize, is the 12 volt battery and the 20 volt battery charge on the same charger. So if you're like me and you've got a charger on board your truck, I can just have one charger and it charges all my batteries. But this has got an adjustable clutch. This is actually a screw gun, and it's got an adjustable clutch, so it's a lot more usable. This is something that I use daily, just about all day long. If you see me on a job site, most likely this is sticking out of my tool belt. It is a lot more impressive piece of equipment than the 20 volt, and it's 12 volt. And don't underestimate the 12 volt. This thing will snap a screw off too if you want to be stupid with it and not pay attention. It's got a clutch on it, and you better use it. It'll snap stuff off, especially if you're working with some smaller, delicate stuff. You really need to turn this thing down to 3 or 4 before it will just shatter that screw. One thing Wranglerstar pointed out was that he thought the screws just went into plastic, and they don't. They're actually much like the Makita that has the where's that, Milwaukee. Sorry, I keep saying Makita, it's Milwaukee. The Milwaukee's got a brass insert, and the way it's put in, it appears that it would actually pull out. Now, I can't verify that it would. Where the Dewalts actually have a nut on the inside the casting. It's ambidextrous. You can put the hook on either side. You also have a bit holder. Personally, I didn't like the bit holder. It seemed to always be in my way, so I took it off. But there you go. Now, the reason I went with the Dewalt over the Milwaukee is the price point of accessories and the availability of the tools. One thing with when I'm working on the road is I constantly find myself needing something, and it's nice to, if I need a tool, to be able to go to just about any hardware store, because almost everybody carries DeWalt, and I can pick up whatever I need. I got on a job site and I needed a Sawzall. Just run down, go pick up a Sawzall. I got on a job site and I needed a circular saw. So what I do? Just run down and grab it. And I've been relatively impressed with this circular saw. It's done everything I've asked of it. Even getting in some of these really old houses from the mid-1800s and sometimes even older, that really hard wood that really seems to work hard on a skill saw just drops right through it. It doesn't give me any problems. So I really can't complain about that. So that's why I choose the Dewalt. That's why I carry the Dewalt. Now, I'm not a die-hard Dewalt guy. If you look over here, you'll see there's a red box. And in this red box is a Milwaukee hammer drill. It's a good tool. Milwaukee is a great brand. I use Milwaukee tools on job sites fairly regularly. One of the oldest power tools in my possession is a Milwaukee screwdriver. I've actually got 2 of them that are matching. They're great tools. Don't think for a minute that I'm knocking the name brand. I'm not. I like Milwaukee. I've used Milwaukee, and I would buy Milwaukee with no hesitation. But the Dewalt has a lot better availability. That's why I didn't go with the Porter-Cable. A lot of people are going to say, well, Porter-Cable's the same thing as DeWalt and it's cheaper. You know, it's actually made by the same manufacturer. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but I can't go just anywhere and pick up a Porter-Cable. I can go just about anywhere and pick up a DeWalt. So there you have it. That's why I have a DeWalt. And I don't want to disagree with Wranglerstar at all. I think he did a very fair review. I just wanted to point out a few things that I thought he missed and encourage people to look towards the Dewalt. Now, Ryobi, in my experience, will not keep up with the DeWalt. I actually had just about everything 18-volt lithium that you could have at one point in time from Ryobi. And I was getting on job sites, and everybody's just running away from me. I can't keep up. Their tools are just blowing me away. So I wound up realizing that the Ryobi is really a good home use hobbyist type tool. It's just not meant for somebody that's out there every day really putting their tools through hardcore work. So I found somebody that did need some home use type tools. I let them have the Ryobi kit, and I stepped on over to the DeWalt. Well, if you guys have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. If you like this kind of stuff, please leave some feedback below in the comment section. Like the video, subscribe to my channel. I don't do a whole lot of tool reviews, but it's something I do look forward to doing because I do use quite a bit of tools from day to day. As you can see, my truck's pretty well equipped with stuff here. So if you guys have anything you would like to see reviewed, let me know. Y'all have a great day. Hello YouTube, another fine day. I'm going to replace a bad video camera. It's fuzzy. I'm going to replace it, and then we're going to adjust the whole system. Alright, we've got the fender off, and we're going to replace this bullet, which the others of these we've had from 2M CCTV have been great. It's just this one's been bad. We're going to replace this one with a turret. This big old honking turret. There we go. The camera's a little bigger than the box, but it's sealed from the backside, so no worries. Well, it's been a busy day, so couldn't really get a lot of filming in, but there's actually wire running across. Then it goes across right here, goes to the back of the building and comes down. There's equipment outside the building that it runs to. It comes back around and over to here. The only part that's really obvious is where it goes down into the secondary office, which is from up there. But all clean and neat and basically invisible.